All right, Larry Kruger here from the Pig and a Pickle Crew Show with a little Golden State Warrior video. And we appreciate Pig and a Pickle for being the title sponsor of the Krug Show. Check them out in Emeryville in Corte Madera. They're open 7 days a week from 11 a.m. till 8 p.m. in Corte Madera and Emeryville. Go say hi to Damon and Mary. Have some brisket. Tell them that Larry Kruger sent you. And we're also this week on our trip to Las Vegas, which we are departing later today. Sharp Corners Sports Cards and Collectibles is one of our sponsors this week. They're located at 205 Cypress Avenue in Pacific Grove, California, along the Monterey Peninsula. Give Anthony Catania a call at 831-521-5264. They're open Monday through Friday, 11 to 6, and Saturdays, 11 to 3:30. And then ValleyHillRoofing.net. They're a great roofer. Give them a call, 209-481-6851, or check out their website, valleyroofing.net. They're a Go Green roofing contractor, and they are fantastic. Call them for a free consultation. And thanks to them for sponsoring the Krug Show this week as we head off to Las Vegas. All right, let's talk a little bit about the Warriors. Klay Thompson struggled again. Oh, my gosh. Klay Thompson is just absolutely struggling in the worst way. It's hard to watch. It is really hard to watch the Golden State Warriors right now with Klay Thompson struggling the way he's struggling. And Monday night, the Warriors beat the Nets 109-98. It was a good win for Golden State. They're only their ninth win on the road all year. They got 28 from Kuminga, 28 and 10 from Kuminga, 29 from Steph. But Klay Thompson shot 4 of 9. He missed all 3 of his threes. He played 30 minutes. And he had 8 points. That's it. And you look at Golden State right now. It's just I feel like in some ways Klay is playing so badly that this team is burdened by him and what he's doing. And it's like, okay, what are the Warriors going to do at the trade deadline? Well, this is the ultimate question right now. The Warriors are desperately in need of change. And Steph Curry's window to win a championship is closing. I mean, we're closing right before our eyes. And the Warriors face a major battle to even make the playoffs, even the play-in tournament in a very deep Western Conference. And if you look at not only are the Warriors struggling to win games and make the playoffs, it's an expensive team. They get the highest payroll in the league. They're projected to have a $186.3 million tax payment. And there's no incentive to tank the season because they owe a protected first-round pick to the Portland Trailblazers this summer. So they got to make it happen. Dunleavy's got to make it happen at the trade deadline. They can open up 2 future first-rounders to trade at the deadline. They have an unencumbered first-round pick available in 2028. They could add another pick in 2026. By amending the protections owed on their 2024 pick to the Blazers. They also have 3 second-round picks available. And there's all kinds of, talk about DeJounte Murray, Bojan Bogdanovic, DeMar DeRozan, Wendell Carter Jr., Kyle Kuzma. There's a lot of talk that the Warriors are going to try to add size. The bottom line is you're not going to be able to – this team, you got to take a shot at shuffling the deck and seeing if you can either get into the playoffs this year or at least set yourself up at the very least to make a playoff run next year in what will probably be, I hate to say it, maybe the final year of Steph Curry's prime. But it's time to turn over this roster. And if you look over and you say, well, who would you move? I definitely would move Chris Paul. He's been a great bench player for the Warriors. He's been really good. He's fit in, but he's an older player, and he's not healthy right now. He's currently out with a hand injury that required surgery on January the 8th. I just think that, when you look at the $30.8 million salary, if you really want to get better, you find some team that wants a player like Paul who could help them in the short term and give them a $30.8 million salary relief when his contract does expire. So I would definitely be interested in moving Chris Paul. I definitely would be interested in moving Andrew Wiggins. He's not the same player that he was a couple of years ago. His scoring is down. He's hitting career lows in assists and steals. He started to shoot the ball better, but a lot of people feel like he's His contract makes him difficult to trade. He's only in year one of a 4-year, $109 million deal with a player option in year 4. But the Warriors badly need to upgrade. And the fact that Wiggins has played well over the last week, maybe there's some team that will get excited about him at the deadline. He's a guy that I would move. Moses Moody. I love Moses Moody. But if you're going to attract anything in the trade market, you got to trade a guy like Moses Moody. You're not going to move Kuminga. You don't want to move Pods. You don't want to move Trace Jackson Davis. You only really have 4 young players that teams would want. Moody's attractive. He makes $3.9 million. He's 21. He's hitting 36% from threes for his career. He plays good defense. He would add value to a deal. He would be the kind of player that would entice a team, excuse me, to pull the trigger on a trade. So I'm willing to move Moody. And then there's Klay Thompson, who's got an expiring $43.2 million contract. And, the reason I would move Klay Thompson is Klay Thompson is not handling the twilight of his career well at all. And he's now become a negative. It's hard for me to even say that. He's one of my favorite players of all time. But he's clearly in decline. He's 33. His scoring's down. His shooting percentages are way down. He's not the same defender he once was. There may be somebody out there that wouldn't mind Klay Thompson as an expiring. He's got value. So, the bottom line is the Warriors are offered him a 2-year, $48 million contract, which was way, way too much, and he feels insulted by it. So there's no deal. There's no going forward after that. It's like you're not worth the money that the team's offering you. The team shouldn't be offering you the kind of money that they are. So that means you're at what we call an old-fashioned impasse. So if there's a player out there that makes big cash, and I suggested somebody like Ben Simmons, but if there's somebody out there that makes huge cash and has more of a future and could be kind of, rebuilt in Golden State, I think it'll be easier for Klay Thompson to kind of regain form in a different locker room, in a different market, where he's starting fresh and starting new. And maybe that's the Clippers. Not every market fits him, but maybe that's the Clippers. Maybe it's Portland. Maybe it's New York. To me, it's probably one of those options. It's either LA, New York, Portland. Maybe there's a couple more options in that. Maybe Dallas, someplace like that. But I would definitely be interested in seeing if you could move Klay Thompson. And, I understand it's not going to be popular with Steph Curry, but so what? Right now, every time Klay comes out and continues to play the way he's playing, it's such a downer. This guy used to lift the team up with his enthusiasm and his youthful energy. Now he's dragging the team down with his yesteryear, trying to get it back, trying desperately. It's bothering him. You can see the burden. Everything seems like he's trying to get his career jump started with every jump shot. It's just too burdensome. And there's a heaviness around Klay. Not obviously not weight, I'm not talking about, but there's just an emotional burden of watching him decline and seeing him struggle with the twilight of his career. So as much as I hate to say it, he's the guy that I would move. He absolutely is. And if I got to attach Moody to it or a pick to it, I would do it. I would see if I could find a younger player who could potentially reopen this window a little bit. So those 4 guys, Chris Paul, Andrew Wiggins, Moses Moody, Klay Thompson. I'd even be willing to move Kevon Looney. I feel like he's an old body. He's had hip problems, and I just think he's going to have a short-lived prime. Age-wise, he's still a relatively young man, but he's moving around like a much older man. I don't think he's going to age well. If you could move any of those 5 guys, Paul, Wiggins, Moody, Thompson, or Looney, I'm game. I'm absolutely game. And as far as who could you get? Well, I don't know. Could you get Wendell Carter Jr. and maybe Jalen Suggs out of Orlando? I'd be interested in that. Could you get Denny Avdia or Kyle Kuzma or both out of Washington? I'd be interested in that. Can you get? I mean, I think DeMar DeRozan's intermediate game is exactly a perfect blend to play with Steph Curry. Maybe DeRozan could be that second primary scorer, and you could reopen the title window by adding DeRozan, who's a West Coast guy, right? He's an LA kid. Maybe he would be happy out here on the West Coast. That would be interesting to me. I don't have all the answers here. I really don't. It's not like there's a perfect solution. There's probably not one move that can be made that can jumpstart this team. But DeRozan is of interest to me. Carter and Suggs in Orlando would be of interest to me. Kuzma and Avdia in Washington, I think, would be of interest to me. I hate to say it, but if Jerry West, who always loved Clay, if he would be willing to make a move and give up James Harden, I think James Harden, believe it or not, even though he dominates the basketball and kind of doesn't play the same brand of ball that the Warriors typically play, I think Harden at his age and his contract would be attractive coming to the Warriors. So I don't know what they're going to do. I really don't. And I'm not sure if there's a simple solution to any of this. But letting the trade deadline come and go without making a move is not a good decision. The Warriors are not going anywhere as they're currently constructed. Not only that, their whole vibe has grown stale. They need a big trade to shake things up, and maybe they're 2, 3, 4 moves away from really turning their roster over. But I think if you're Dunleavy, you got to start right now. And those are the guys I'd move: Paul, Wiggins, Moody, Clay, and Looney. Those are the guys I'd be open to moving. And as I said, I'd be open to a number of different things. I think this team needs a shuffle. They need a reshuffle of players, and I think they're desperately in some ways in need of a shakeup at the trade deadline. All right, thanks to Pig and a Pickle for being the title sponsor of the Krug Show. Also, thank you to valleyhillroofing.net, and thank you to Sharp Corners Sports Cards and Collectibles in Pacific Grove. Give Anthony Catania a call, 831-521-5264, valleyhillroofing.net, or give them a call as well, 209-481-6851. And the websites of both companies are linked in the description. And thanks to all you guys for supporting the Krug Show on YouTube.